Yeah. Get high rapper. The Man Hour. You already know. It's live. It's raw. It's going down. Like this. I'm going around and letting everybody know that they welcome to the show. It's the latest thing you ever seen, you already know. Let me introduce you to your host of the hour. It be Mike and Mike. Yeah, it's the Man Hour. Got the hottest plays, all the breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten up the screws. Yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down? It's going down. I'll be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back. I can double up. I got sriracha for that ass, I'ma burn it up. Gotta check the rules and know that it be fair and foul. Rep throw the whistle, coach throw the towel. We can do this on the field, outside the lines. It's the Man Hour though, now we going live.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page, and of course check out the blog section as well, as we do upload blogs as frequently as we can over there. But if you head over to the merchandise page right here, right now, you can use promo code SUNSET and you'll get up to 20% off all your purchases over there at manhourradio.com. On the merchandise page, promo code SUNSET. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Pick'emwars.com. That's www.pickemwars.com. You guys can play for free and win real money over there, over at Pick'emwars.com. You simply pick the games that you want to win, or I mean, you can pick all of the NFL games. You pick the college games or USC games over there, Major League Baseball games. It's Pick'emwars.com, guys. Sign up for free. Use promo code ManHour, or just tell ManHour sent you. There is no promo code because it is all free. So Pick'emwars.com is the sponsor of tonight's show. So big shout out to those guys and David and the rest of the crew over there. So we do got a great show, guys. We lined up today. We are going to talk Justin Fields and Andy Dalton. Justin Fields has got in the reins there in Chicago, so we'll talk about that. Tua, we're going to talk about some big action. We had Way or No Way lined up right by Thrive Fantasy, but it's just me tonight, so we can definitely not do a Way or No Way. But the biggest aspect of the show tonight is we do have the NFL Power Rankings tonight. So Mr. Grammy Wallace will be joining us tonight here on the old Man Hour, and Mr. Wallace will be hammering out those rest of the top 16 power rankings for us. So we have already released the bottom 16. If you guys haven't been so already, you should be following us on Twitter, man_hour_radio on the old Twitter machine, and we have all 16 rankings out there right now. So big shout out to Graham over there, and he'll be joining us here in about a half hour to 45 minutes. Big shout out to Drew. What's going on to Drew tonight? Howdy, Buck, as he says. Howdy, Drew. I hope you're having a great night there, good sir. But guys, it is time to get in to basically what everybody has been talking about here, the last, 8 or 9 hours that since the news has broke. And that is that Justin Fields will be starting week 3 in place of Andy Dalton. So Andy Dalton has a sprained knee. Matt Nagy did come out and say that it is not an ACL. So that is positive news. If you are an Andy Dalton fan like I am, I do think Andy Dalton is a top 15 quarterback in the league if he is given a chance, but obviously, he hasn't been able to really get his footing ever since he's left Cincinnati. He was a backup quarterback in Dallas, and he got knocked out pretty viciously, if you guys remember, by good old Chase Young there. But Justin Fields has been named starter for the week 3 for the Chicago Bears, and they will be traveling to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. So, obviously, guys, the Cleveland Browns is a pretty solid defensive team. They held Kansas City down, and the Browns are the Browns. Not like the old school Browns, but the Browns are a much better, much improved. Many people are picking them to go to the at least the AFC title game this year. So it is definitely going to be a test for Justin Fields. So the question that I'm going to propose to everybody out there in the in the YouTube world here, youtube.com/Man Hour and Big X Sports Radio 96.1. You can listen to us every day at 4 through 6 p.m. on there, Monday through Friday. Is Andy Dalton ever going to get his starting job back? And we've heard what Matt Nagy had to say. Matt Nagy said, "Hey, this is Andy's job. Once he comes back, this is his job. Tua, or not Tua. Fields is just here as a placeholder because Dalton is injured." And guys, Matt Nagy has to be talking out both ends of his mouth right now. There is no way that he can go back to Andy Dalton after Justin Fields. I mean, because Justin Fields is the future of the team. Let's just be flat out honest. Justin Fields is the future of this team. He is the heir to the throne, or whatever words you want to use. It's just it is coming sooner than we all expected. Mr. BC Combs said that by week 4. I said maybe week 1 by next year, but certainly not week 3. So with all that being said, we have to ask this question. Let's say Justin Fields has a successful rest of the season. Let's say, he leads them to 8 wins this season. I mean, obviously that is a winning underneath Justin Fields as a starter. Obviously not a team win, but as a winner, Justin Fields would be a winning quarterback at that point. Does Matt Nagy lose his job after that point? And I have to say yes. I think if Justin Fields is successful, I think Matt Nagy will lose his job. Why? Because everybody's going to be questioning, well, why didn't Justin Fields start week 1? Why didn't Justin Fields start week 2? Why did you have to wait until Andy Dalton got hurt to put Justin Fields in there? Matt Nagy is playing with a double-edged sword right now, and quite frankly, it is not on his favor. He has a sharp end on this side of the neck, and the sharp end on the other side of the neck. So he pretty much has to hope that Justin Fields is just bad enough to, keep his job, but not too good to make his lose his job either. He is definitely have to toe that line a tad bit. And I see over there on the old Twitter machine, we are streaming this live on Twitter tonight, as well, man_hour_radio. They asked, why do you think Matt Nagy will lose his job? Because I think Matt Nagy will lose his job because, one, Justin Fields, let's say he is better than Andy Dalton, which I'm not saying he is not, but I think Justin Fields is better than Andy Dalton right now. Basically, I like at least athletically wise and every aspect of the game besides the actual, mindset of preparing for a game. People are going to question, well, why didn't you start him week 1? And how do you answer that if you're Matt Nagy? I don't think you can answer that, to be flat out honest. I don't think you can answer, well, I started Andy Dalton because he's a veteran. I mean, yes, I've sat here and said that Justin Fields needed to sit a year. Yes, that's the only way that's the only way Matt Nagy would have been able to keep his job this year is if Justin Fields sat the whole year. Because the minute you put Justin Fields in there and he starts lighting it up, kind of like how Lamar Jackson came in, week 9 his rookie year and lit it up. I think he even led him to the playoffs. And people are questioning, well, why wasn't he playing the full season? Luckily, John Harbaugh, had a good team and a good repertoire over there. Matt Nagy does not have that. So it's definitely going to be questioned a lot why Justin Fields wasn't in there. So then the next question has to be proposed here. This was geared toward Brandon Combs, obviously, because you guys know he is a Bears guy. Bears through and through. Chicago Cubs, I got them on the old TV back there watching them and like whatnot. But in a perfect world, do the Bears make the playoffs? And I meant by like a perfect world, let's say Matt Nagy changes his play calling to match Justin Fields' ability, rolling the pocket, having that moving pocket, not really running like RPOs, but running some type of read option plays, not true RPOs, but you guys get what I'm saying there. In a perfect world, do the Bears make the playoffs with Justin Fields at the helm? And looking at their schedule moving forward, I'm going to go hell no. I mean, they, just like Combs said, they have a hard ass schedule. I mean, they play the Browns next. That's probably going to be a loss. Let's just be honest. They're playing the Lions next, or at least the Lions are at home. That's probably a win. They're playing a good Raiders team. They're playing a Packers team, Bucks, 49ers. I mean, guys, honestly, looking forward right now, the Bears might only have 3 wins on their schedule, no matter who the quarterback is. So those 3 wins that I have are the Giants, the Lions once, and then obviously they have 1 win versus the Cincinnati Bengals last week. So I think that's the only way how. So in a perfect world, can they make the playoffs? Absolutely not. The Bears are not going to the playoffs there whatsoever. The only way they can get going to the playoffs is if Nick Foles comes in and does his magic that he did with Philly when they went to that Super Bowl run. So sorry, Bears fans, there's no way, no how you guys are making the playoffs this year. So moving on to the next topic here, man, Miami. Can you guys legitimately catch a break? Because I don't think you guys can, because the Miami Dolphins, guys, Tua will be out week 3 for Miami Dolphins when they play the Raiders in week 3. He has broken ribs, and obviously it was diagnosed as a bruise at first, but upon further investigation, as they like to say, he has broken ribs and he will not be playing week 3. Jacoby Brissett will be taking the helm there in place of Mr. Tua. And so, guys, does Tua get his job back when he is healthy? Does Tua have a chance to get his job if he's healthy? No. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say no, not at all. Tua has been a below-average quarterback at best. He's only completing 58% of his passes, and he kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? He looks like dog shit. Let's just be flat honest. He looks bad out there. Yes, I know you Tua fans, you Miami fans are pumping your chest. Tua's great. Tua's great. Tua's great. No, he is not great right now. He looks bad. He looks out of place, and he looks like a person that is pressing a little bit. He is looking like a person that is trying to find his way, that now that his mentor is gone, aka Ryan Fitzpatrick, that his bailer outer is gone, aka Ryan Fitzpatrick. So when Jacoby Brissett takes this team and they beat the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas in week 3, I believe it's in Las Vegas, I should say, Jacoby Brissett probably is not going to give this team back. There is no way that Brian Flores can legitimately look at the locker room and say Tua is our best chance to win when Jacoby Brissett goes out there and throws for 280 yards, 27 for 35, 3 touchdowns through the air, and the team looks great. And the team looks like they did when Ryan Fitzpatrick was at the helm last year. If you guys want to flash back to 2020, the Miami Dolphins were in the heat of a playoff run. Were they not? They were poised to make that playoff run, and then Brian Flores said, "You know what, Ryan? We're going into a bye week here, and Tua. We spent a draft pick on Tua, and we know you're doing great. We know you're having the best season of your career. And with your 15 other teams, but you know what? It's Tua time here in Miami. It is time to open up that can of tuna and just put Tua in there, right? Now that Ryan Fitzpatrick is gone, Jacoby Brissett is there. Jacoby Brissett is not a Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is not somebody that's going to lead you and mentor you and come bail you out type of thing. But Jacoby Brissett, he is a guy that's fighting for us a starting job. Let's just be flat out honest. He got the short end of the stick in Indianapolis when he was kind of thrown in the fire there when Andrew Luck retired unexpectedly 2 weeks before the season started. So they had a bad season, and it made Jacoby look bad because they built the team for Andrew Luck. And then when he finally started to roll, they brought in Philip Rivers because they didn't have faith in him, and then he got traded to Miami to put behind Tua. So with all that being said, guys, if and when Jacoby Brissett comes in there and lights it up versus the Las Vegas Raiders, which is overrated, I might add, he is not going to give that back. If Tua gets that job back, Brian Flores is going to lose that locker room. Much like what Brandon Collins was saying about, Justin Fields and Matt Nagy, how everybody wants Justin Fields to play. I feel like everybody's going to want Jacoby Brissett to stay in there because Tua is sucking right now. 58% of your passes. I believe your QBR is only 30 or 40. I didn't pull up the QBR stats, but it's ridiculous. Let's just be flat on. It is absolutely ridiculous the way he is playing right now. He's not looking like a number one pick. I mean, a first round pick, I should say. I mean, he just doesn't look like it. So let's go ahead and jump into the chat here. And Drew says Flores was an idiot for waffling between Fitz and Tua. Yeah, Drew, you are exactly right. Once you put in a quarterback to take over a starting job that, guys, let's just be honest, Ryan Fitzpatrick was looking damn good. He was leading the Miami Dolphins to the playoffs. I believe that at the time they were 6-2 or something to that effect. I don't really remember the schedule off the top of my head, but they were second in that division behind Buffalo. They were firmly in the wild card race, and once that bye week hit, he started waffling, just like what Drew's saying. #waffle, Mr. Wyatt Williams. He was waffling between two quarterbacks. He would start Tua, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick would come out to bail him out. So people say, "Oh, Tua won XYZ games," but Tua came in the fourth quarter and won that for you, right there, Mr. Tua. Brian Flores just needs to stick with the guy and stick with him. So whether it's Tua or Jacoby, you have to stick to the guy no matter what. No more waffling back and forth here. Drew also says that he believes the Raiders are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. Ooh. So here's the thing about the Raiders here, Mr. Drew. Every time we start to buy stock into the Vegas Raiders, whether it be the Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders, or the Vegas Raiders, every time you start to buy stock into them, the stock goes down. It plummets. Once you sell that stock, they're done. They rattle off 8 wins. So the Vegas Raiders are an habitual 8-8 team. Yes, I know we have 17 games this year, but they will find a way to be 8-8 this year. Hell, they might be 7-7-3. They are going to be a 500 team this year somehow, some way. That's just who the Raiders are. They have all the talent in the world, just like Dallas Cowboys do. Derek Carr is a top tier quarterback. He's a damn good quarterback. He's improving every year that he is on the field. But yet trade rumors still circulate him every off season, which is absolutely ridiculous. But the Raiders, they are just a underperforming team year in and year out. And I don't know if it's the culture. I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know if it's XYZ. I don't know if it's the ownership. I don't know if it's the DJ in the end zone playing the wrong song. They are just a team that you cannot buy in and have faith in. Let me repeat that, Drew. They are just a team that you cannot buy in and have faith in. And yes, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and there might be a little bit of bias in there because I'm scared of the Raiders. Yes, the Raiders are a good team on paper. The first week, they looked decent. Fourth quarter and on, they were opposite of the Falcons. Fourth quarter on, they look good. First 3 quarters are like, meh, it's just the same old Raiders. They're hanging around, but they don't know how to win. Week 2, okay, they may be surprises by beating the Steelers, but we'll talk into the Steelers here next. Maybe the Steelers are just not as good as we thought they were. And then, so this week, the Raiders play Miami, and Miami isn't as good as we thought they were going to be. Many people had, I think Torrey had them going 11-5 or 12-5 or something. It was something ridiculous. Yes, it was second in the division because he had the Bills going 14-3, but still 12 wins for Miami. There's no way they're getting 12 wins right now whatsoever. So I see your Raiders, but I'm going to trump you 15 other teams just in the, or 5 other teams in the AFC that is better than the Raiders, unfortunately. So before I get off of the Tua in Miami topic, I have to propose a question to everybody that is listening tonight here at manhourradio.com and of course youtube.com/manhour. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, please do that right now as the viewership is going up and down. So just hit that like button, share this with a couple friends as well. So this is Tua's second full season in the NFL, right? So we've seen him play at Alabama, Oklahoma, and now his second year in the NFL. Are we ready to put the injury prone on Tua? Because he's had that hip injury. He had the ankle injury year one. Now he has the broken ribs. Yes, I lie. He got popped to break those ribs. But are we ready to mark him as injury prone? Are we ready to mark him as Carson Wentz 2.0? Because let's just be honest, can he play a full 16 games? I don't think he can, or 17 games. I don't think Tua is going to be able to play a full 17 game season the way he is currently constructed. So I don't know if he needs to put on some pounds. I don't know if he needs to take off some weight to get more. I don't like fashion so he can elude those guys. But either way, he's definitely injury prone. So before we head into our first break of the night, and here in about 15-20 minutes, Graham Wallace will be joining us here with the NFL Power Rankings. So stay tuned for that. I'm getting excited to have Graham on here. So let me jump back into the chat here. Drew says, I believe it comes from the ownership and the snowballs downhill. So, yeah, I mean, I believe it's Al Davis Jr. is the owner's name right now, since Al Davis died and then his son is now in charge. Let's just call him Junior, because I don't know if it's Al Davis Jr. or not. But he definitely doesn't know he doesn't know football. When I say he doesn't know football, I'm not talking about the back office. He is obviously a marketing genius, right? He is in Vegas. People are going to come to Vegas just for the atmosphere and all this other stuff. Yada yada yada. But with that being said, he doesn't know football. He needs John Madden back to teach him some football, right? Now that's football, right? He needs good old John Madden over there to help him out, and but at some point, like their general manager, what's his name? They got him from the Bucks, I think, right? But like the John Gruden and the general manager, his name slipping my mind right now. Tori wouldn't know that. Like the ownership doesn't need to know football if you have a good general manager, right? Just so like me, I know what to do in the back office, so Tori and Combs don't have to. So they're a good boss and let me handle this because I do the back office stuff well, and then they talk to sports well. So it is definitely a working relationship that he needs to figure out. Drew says, I am a Chiefs fan, number one as as well. And let me cue this up. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. And then Drew says, no matter what you say or believe, the Raiders are going to be a pain in every team's butt this year. It certainly will, because nobody wants to go to Vegas and play football. What do you want to do in Vegas? You want to do cocaine off of hookers' butts and go to the strip club and gamble away your millions of dollars, right? Be like Phil Ivey and hustle MGM or like out there. And one last comment before we head for our first break here. First half hour is up here on the Man Hour. Drew says, no, your ribs would be broken if you got hit like that too. You're absolutely right. He's still injury prone. I got strong bones. I've never broken a bone before in my life. Knock on wood. I mean, I've torn some ligaments and shit like that, but I've never broken bones. And with that being said, once you start breaking bones, you become injury prone, whether it's ankles or ribs or whatever. When you cannot play a full 17 game season in an NFL season, Carson Wentz, you are deemed injury prone. And I think right now Tua gets that injury prone stigma on him. So Drew says that's if the management doesn't stick their finger in the pot and interfere too much. The GM can do their job. See, and this is referencing to the Raiders. obviously. I don't think Junior really interferes too much. I think Junior lets the GM do their thing, let John Gruden do his thing, and he just worries about putting DJ in the south end zone. He is not no Jerry Jones. But guys, we are going to take our first break of the night. If you are going to miss any part of the show whatsoever, be sure to head out to manhourradio.com. Check out the podcast, as we will upload the podcast after each show, I should say. We are live every Sunday through Thursday at youtube.com/manhour. And of course, we do upload the clips each and every day over there, 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. every Sunday through Thursday, and Friday and Saturday. I throw something in special in for you, 8 o'clock. We also upload. So we upload 5 to 6 times a day over there. But guys, tonight's episode is brought to you by pick'emwars.com. Head over to www.pick'emwars.com. That's pick'emwars.com. Link is in the bio. Check them out. Play for free and win some real money over there, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
manhourradio.com.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buck Kaiser here with you live, raw and uncut sports talk. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, and of course, check out the blog section as well. It is time for some NFL power rankings with Graham Wallace himself. So we'll bring him on momentarily. But this section of the Man Hour is brought to you by Yeats Sunglasses. Go to yeatsoriginal.com and use promo code Man Hour, and they'll match up to 20%, or they'll take off 20% of your order of amazing sunglasses here. So let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Wallace himself at Bus Wallace on the old Twitter machine. What's going on, man?
Yeah, good to be with you, Buck. Another exciting week of NFL football, and I'm happy to break it down with you once again.
Yeah, so if you guys are following us on Twitter, which you should be, man_hour_radio, and of course at Bus Wallace on the old Twitter machine, we have given you guys the first, or I should say the bottom 16. And if you want to find out if your team ranks in the bottom 16, which most of your teams do, because you guys are all not Packer fans. Which, as you can see, I got my cheese head here now. I'm not a Packers fan, but I had the most awesomest time up there at the old Lambeau Field. So I gotta support them. So how first things first, give yourself a shameless plug. Where can they find your blogs and everything else?
Yeah, no doubt. So I just started writing for jaysjournal.com. So you could find my articles there, jaysjournal.com. Please follow me on Twitter at Bus Wallace. The B and the W are capitalized. You can also find me on Instagram, Bus Wallace, all lowercase. bringing you content a few times a week. Definitely plug in these power rankings, which I'm pretty stoked to be doing with you guys all season.
Yeah, so he does write about the Toronto Blue Jays, which I actually have them on right now. So I'm kind of excited to be watching that game in the background during the breaks here. So where do you want to start tonight? Do you want to start at number 1? Do you want to start at number 16, number 10? What do you want to do tonight?
Wow, it's up to me.
It's up to you. Ball's in your court.
Okay, well, I think we should maybe build up to number 1. We'll start with the start, or I guess we'll start with 16 and we'll build up to that crescendo, if you will, for those
definitely
opera fans out there.
Let's get it from a forte up to what's the double forte called?
Mazza piano, something like that.
Yeah,
I can't really remember.
I haven't played band in so long, but
yeah,
I just remember forte. Loud as possible.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had to use those terms. I didn't think I'd be bringing them out tonight, but
all right. Well, let's get loud, man. Let's get loud. Who do you got coming in at number 16?
Okay, number 16, coming off a really impressive comeback win over the Seattle Seahawks, Tennessee Titans. They looked like they were dead and gone in this game, and they somehow found a way to come back. Derrick Henry. This guy is a beast. 237 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Tannehill had some nice moments in this game as well. Really impressive win. I think I maybe had them drop a little bit too far in the rankings last week, but this is a team I really liked over the last couple seasons. I'm not sure if they're the same team, but certainly an impressive win on Sunday.
Yeah, what was most impressive to me is they're down by 20 points in the second half, and they didn't panic. They didn't start throwing the ball like all over the field. What they do, they turned and handed to King Henry. I can't, and like I was kind of looking in the back, like I was passively watching the game because the Chiefs was I was getting ready for the Chiefs game.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm like, are they just consented like losing this like this game? And the next thing you know is in freaking overtime. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, I mean, coming in at number 16, I mean that's pretty solid, and they do have a pretty good test this week versus the Colts. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to pan out. So who you got coming in at number 15?
Okay, number 15, the highest risers this week. Extremely impressive win, a big upset. Carolina Panthers. They just shellacked the New Orleans Saints 26-7. This defense looks for real. Phil Snow, underrated defensive coordinator. They've got some guys flying around out there. Sam Darnold's looked pretty impressive through 2 games as well. Obviously, CMC gets a lot of the fantasy love, but they've got some downfield targets as well. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore as well. I'm not saying this is a real contender, but I think they're a lot better than people think. I think I like them more than most. And I've been hearing reports out of this team, even before the season started, that they're going to be better. I really believe in Matt Rule. He turns teams around. He did it at Temple. He did it at Baylor. I think he could do it in the NFL as well.
Yeah, and and obviously he has proven this, and many people are already jumping on this Panthers team saying, "Oh, I had them since week 2 or since like week 1, yada yada yada." They are going to be great, but they do have a true test coming up this week, and like I'm kind of concerned about the Saints just because they come out firing off on all cylinders versus the Packers. Like obviously the Packers were misfiring on like everything. Yeah. So we'll see where your Saints land. Actually. Yeah. No, so the Saints, you had them fall way down to number 18. So yeah, we've already posted that. So was that win versus the Saints that good? I mean, like we will obviously see moving forward. But you said the Panthers are the highest riders as they should be. Coming in at number 14, who do you got?
I got another team that's on the rise, seemingly the Denver Broncos. I didn't want to push them up too far for beating the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I have as a bottom 2 team in the NFL right now. But they're getting the job done. They've only allowed 13 points in each of their first 2 games. Teddy Bridgewater's been efficient. They've got the run game going. I think this could be a top. I don't know if I'm ready to say top 5, but definitely a top, say 6 or 8 defensive unit overall as far as yards are allowed. I think Vic Fangio, they're giving their head coaches a bit of patience. I believe this is his 3rd year with the team. So It's really given them a chance to kind of build that culture, and they seem like they're going to be a tough team to play with. I don't know if they're a real contender either, similar to the Panthers, but they're certainly a tough team to play against.
Yeah, we will find out this week when they do travel to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs. So I actually had the Broncos as a sleeper team this year, kind of backing their way into the playoffs. So seeing them up there kind of makes my pick not so bad and not so scary, right? So coming in at number 13, you do have the Dallas Cowboys after a big win in LA.
Sir.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I think it was a good win. Even the first week they were competitive against the defending Super Bowl champions. I think it's all there for them. Dak Prescott, he's back from the injury. He doesn't look like he's got too many limitations. Tony Pollard, how about him with a 100-yard rushing game and just about 11 carries, I think. So that was pretty impressive. They've got a nice receiving core, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. I think Micah Parsons has a chance to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was flying all over the field. They have him lining up in a lot of different spots on the field, which is kind of cool to see. And I think they did enough to the secondary, Buck, that they're able to be maybe somewhere in the middle of the league. And if they could be say a top 6 or 8 or top 5 even offense, this is going to be a playoff team, and very likely it'll be the NFC East division winner.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that you bring up Tony Pollard, because I think Mike McCarty is learning that he has a 1-2 punch in the back with Zeke and Tony, kind of like a thunder and lightning type of thing here.
Yeah.
So coming in at number 12, who do you got?
So I got a couple. One of the teams that plummeted, we talked about them a little bit earlier, is the Seattle Seahawks. It seemed like they had the game in hand against Tennessee. They were headed for a 2-0 start. And if they had done so, you would have had 4 teams in the NFC West. We've talked about this a little bit with Tori at 2-0. Obviously, they couldn't finish the job. Russell Wilson had a couple of shaky moments. The defense didn't look great at times. They gave up a ton of rushing yards, like I was saying, to King Henry. So that caused them to take a bit of a tumble this week. Still a top 12 team. I still think this is a playoff team. But with them being now the 4th best team as far as record in that division, it was tough for me to have them be in the top 10.
Yeah. So strange fact here is every time the Seattle Seahawks go 1-1 and they lose week 2, they make it to the Super Bowl. So kind of just throwing it out there. So every time they've made it to the Super Bowl in the last, I think it's like 20 years or whatever it was, they won week 1 and they lost week 2. So maybe this is a Super Bowl bound year for the Seahawks. So coming in at number 11, you do have the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they dropped a lot, and this was even before the big news came out that Big Ben tore his pec and may not be ready for Sunday. So talk a little bit about your number 11 pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I had a bit of a tough time with this. I think I may have ranked them a bit too high following their impressive week 1 win over the Bills. It wasn't a terrible loss, but it was their home opener. They lost by 9 to the Raiders, who a lot of people, they're not sure how good they're going to be. They had some really nice moments over the last couple of seasons, and they always seem to kind of blow it when the the stakes are at their highest, if you will. So I think I had them ranked too high. I didn't want to kill them too much for this loss, but it was a bit of a setback. And we've seen the Steelers' backup quarterbacks over the last few years. Mason Rudolph does nothing to get me excited, other than get a helmet thrown at him or whatever, or possibly make a racist remark. We don't know if he did that, but he's just not an exciting player. And if they have to go to him for a game or two, that's going to be some tough sledding for them. Also, I haven't been terribly impressed with the rookie running back Najee Harris out of Alabama. So he hasn't had a ton of yards. He had a nice stiff arm, but I really thought he would be a bit more productive so far. Yeah,
he kind of reminds me of like OBJ. Like people hyped him up for that one big catch, and really all Harris has done was a stiff arm and then a dive into the end zone. Other than that, he hasn't been a whole lot. So on the flip side of that coin, the Steelers do have Dwayne Haskins still as a quarterback as well. So maybe he could, I don't know, find his footing there in Pittsburgh. I don't know, but who do you got coming in at number 10? This is where all the fun starts.
Yeah, it sure does. And this has been, I think, the most fun team in the NFL so far, and perhaps the most fun player. The Arizona Cardinals, I'm talking about Kyler Murray. And I'm going to start the Kyler Murray for MVP campaign right now.
Wow.
400 yards, passing. I know he had a couple interceptions in this game, but this guy could do it all. To me, he's like Lamar Jackson, kind of like 2.0, but he's not running around looking to run, although he can do that. He's keeping his eyes downfield. He had that really impressive throw on the run to Rondale Moore, about at least 50 yards in the air.
Yeah.
Really a sight to behold. So, I really like the look of this team. They didn't have necessarily a huge, impressive win over the Minnesota Vikings. That was a game they were expected to win. They just about lost. They had to get the Minnesota always blows the kicks at the end of the game, right? So that happened again.
Yeah.
And they were the beneficiary of that. But I like what I've seen so far. I think they've done enough, and they've been a really fun team, one of the more explosive teams, to merit a spot in the top 10, albeit at number 10.
Yeah, so a comment came in here, said hashtag too soon. So you are buying the Cardinals a little too soon, he says. So Damien, maybe not. So we will see moving forward here. I'm not sure who the Cards play next week. I don't have their schedule in front of me, but we are consistently talking about how great the NFC West is. And then at number 9, you have another NFC West team coming in there. Who do you got?
Yeah, that's right. San Francisco 49ers. A lot of people would probably say, well, you got to have them maybe in the top 6 or 7 or even in the top 5. To me, they beat the Eagles 17-11. Not a terribly impressive win, and against an opponent who really isn't in a very high standings as far as my rankings are concerned right now. I still think this is a team that can go far. I think the defense is looking a lot like it did a couple years ago. If Jimmy G can stay healthy, he's going to be productive, but that's been the main question throughout his career. He has a hard time staying on the field. So I just moved them up to 1 spot. You'll find that's a bit of a trend with teams that are ranked high that get wins over lower ranked opponents. I usually don't want to move them up too high, especially if they are in that top 10. You really got to earn your spot in my top 5.
Yeah, and just to throw some facts out there, is you do have the Eagles at 21 in your power rankings, and you guys would already know that if you're following us on Twitter. Be sure to follow him at Bus Wallace on the Twitter machine. So sure. The one thing that concerns me about the 49ers like a little bit is I think they're going to stick to that 2-quarterback system, and I think that ultimately is going to hurt them in the end, be more hurtful than beneficial. Maybe Jimmy G might be able to be healthy for 17 games, but on the flip side, you're never going to really have a rhythm and maybe a 9-8 season, but only time will tell. Who do you got coming in at number 8?
Just real quick, I think the 2-quarterback system could keep defenses off balance conversely, but okay. I know what you're saying. Number 8, I got the Cleveland Browns. They were able to come up with their first win of the season. Again, not a terribly impressive win over the Houston Texans. I thought Houston battled in this game, but they did enough to win. It's a big thing to get your first win of the season. I think this team definitely still has high hopes. I do think they're a dark horse, Super Bowl contender. And it's kind of all there for them, but they're going to have to beat some better teams in order to kind of inch their way up towards that top spot.
So let me go totally off topic here, just for a second.
Sure.
Do you think people are maybe sleeping on the Texans a tad bit just because Deshaun Watson isn't their starting quarterback, and maybe the team has like a chip on their shoulder with something to prove, like hey, there's another 51 guys here, just not one,
Yeah, people were talking about the Houston Texans roster as if it was like, the expansion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like one of the worst rosters in NFL history.
Right.
And I don't really see it. I see a team that's been, maybe they don't have big name guys or whatever, but Tyrod Taylor has proven himself to be a solid quarterback, certainly not a top flight starting quarterback, but he'd definitely be one of the better backups. And, he led the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs a few years ago with a 9-7 record. He throws a good deep ball. He's an athletic guy. I know he's had some bad luck and he wasn't able to stay on the field either. We saw Davis Mills in at the quarterback. He's very green. I think we're going to see that tomorrow night. They're playing in the Thursday night game against Carolina. He didn't get a lot of starts under his belt in college football. So that's the part that kind of concerns me. I think Tyrod Taylor was the perfect guy to kind of veteran presence to kind of steer the ship. I don't know how much that gets you, the whole us against the world. If you do have a roster that's not as talented as the others, I think it's going to be a long season in Houston, but so far they've impressed me. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars by 16 points, and then they lost to Cleveland by 10 points in a game they were competitive almost throughout. So pretty good start for the Texans.
All right, so just a recap of the top 10 here. At number 10, he has the Arizona Cardinals. At number 9, he has the San Francisco 49ers. Number 8, he has the Cleveland Browns. Who you got coming in at number 7?
So, I was about to take a drink there. A little too fast for me. That's okay. So, number 7, I got the Green Bay Packers, another kind of bounce back team. I got to give you the gears a little bit here. You were calling a Detroit Lions victory on Monday night. That's okay.
Yeah,
that
you
was
did.
very, very bold of you. But hey, it looked like it was going to happen. I was sitting there at halftime and I was like, Detroit Lions have played a heck of a first half. They put themselves in a position to win. Unfortunately, they were shut out in the second half, and Rodgers kind of put it together. He looked pretty impressive out there to me. It was also revealed that his hair is for some kind of Halloween costume, so we'll have to stay tuned for that for another month or so. That's some real commitment by Rodgers. So, that's a game that they had to win. But they did win it. So you'll see the trend here of just good teams that have moving up one spot because they beat lousy teams.
Yeah, so the Packers definitely look like a top 10 team because obviously the Detroit Lions are a very, very good team. They just got a bad draw here the first few weeks of the season. So Cardinals at 10, 49ers at number 9, Browns at 8, Packers coming in at number 7. Number 6, you got another big riser here. Who do you got?
I got the Raiders.
Oh man.
I got to say, Buck, I struggled with this. If I'm being completely honest and peeling the curtain back, I actually had them a couple spots higher, but I just couldn't do it in good faith. I don't think they're better than some of those teams I have above them. But simply put, there's not a team that's had a more impressive start to the season than the Las Vegas Raiders. They beat the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night, came back to win that game, forced a couple of fumbles by Lamar Jackson. And then they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I had as my 4th-ranked team, albeit maybe I did have them ranked a little bit high, but they beat them by 9 points. This was not a last-second touchdown or anything. Derek Carr threw for almost over 300 yards in the second half. So this is very impressive. I don't know if they can do it for a whole season. That's not what I'm saying right now. But as of this moment, they look like a top 6 team. That's why I have them ranked there. I don't know if they'll be there at the end of the season, but they look mighty impressive so far. Yeah,
we were actually talking about the Raiders a little bit earlier, and every time people start to buy stock into the Raiders, I think then their stock goes down. But like you said, only time will tell. But what is also more impressive about that Pittsburgh Steelers win is this was a 1:00 game on the East Coast. So they traveled coast to coast and they played that early games, which is like 10 o'clock their time. And they put it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, let's just be flat out honest. The Steelers did not look good in that game at all. And the Raiders were clicking on all cylinders. So that gives us 5 teams left here in the top 5.
All right.
You have the Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Bills, and Ravens left to kind of shuffle them up and put them in some type of order.
You got it.
So who do you got coming in at number 5?
Okay, number 5. I think the most impressive win of week 2, Baltimore Ravens. It was a fantastic game there on Sunday Night Football. Chiefs seemed like they had the game in hand. Mahomes was going down for a sack. He threw a really dumb interception. He tried to get it to Kelsey. He couldn't quite get enough on it. Ravens got the interception, and to me, the game completely changed at that point in time. I really love what I saw out of Lamar Jackson. The jump pass, he had over 100 yards rushing. He also had well over 200 yards passing, which a lot of people think that's a part of his game he needs to develop. Right. I like what I've seen out of the defense. Oweh, the rookie, he didn't have a lot of production at Penn State, but he made a humongous play with the sack and recovery of Clyde Edwards-Helaire to kind of seal that victory. And then, of course, there's the 4th down gamble. I wouldn't really call it a gamble. They had to go for it there. John Harbaugh, should we go for it? Hell yeah, we should go for it. So I love what I saw out of the Ravens. A really good back win for them after the tough loss on the opening Monday night game against the Raiders.
So who is your NFL team? Like, do you have an NFL team?
I do. I've been kind of keeping it close to the vest, but I'm a Buffalo Bills fan.
Oh, okay. So let's say you are a Buffalo Bills fan and they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs and it's 4th and 1 and you're up 36-35 and you elect not to go for it on 4th down and you punt the ball away and the Chiefs come down and score. Are you going to be upset with your coach at that point in time?
Well, I think I would be, because if you're punting the ball back to Mahomes, you're asking for something bad to happen.
There was
'Cause this
one
guy's
timeout left, like 30 seconds, I think it was, whatever, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it was a dicey call by Harbaugh, but it just shows how much confidence and faith he has in his guy Lamar Jackson. He said, "Do you want to go for it?" And that's been all over the internet
Yeah.
over the last few days, and I thought that was a really cool moment. He did that a couple of years ago against the Seattle Seahawks. Same thing. Should we go for it? Do you want to go for it here with the game on the line? I think I would be a little bit ticked off, because if you have a chance to win the game, you have to take that chance. Now, sometimes you might want to take it with your defense or your special teams or whatever, but you want to line up there and drive it down their throat and kind of take their will away to win the football game.
And that is the biggest knock of the Kansas City Chiefs is their run defense. Absolutely horrible. And we saw it. Lamar Jackson was slicing and dicing them the whole fourth quarter, and it was pissing me off, to be flat out honest. I'm like, how can you guys not stop this? You know it's coming. How can you not stop it? But just to recap, at 10, you have the Cardinals. 9, you have the 49ers. Number 8, you have the Cleveland Browns. Number 7, you have the Green Bay Packers. Go, Pack, go, as my wife is making me say. 6 are the Raiders. 5, you have the Ravens. Who do you got coming in at number 4?
I got my Buffalo Bills. Very impressive 35-0 shutout victory over the Miami Dolphins. And, I saw a stat I thought was really cool. I'm going to throw it out right now. It was their largest shutout victory over Miami since 1966.
Wow.
These are division rivals for over 50 years. So that's really impressive. I like what I saw to Josh Allen. Still, he missed a couple passes that he normally does, but I saw what I needed to see. Devin Singletary with that long touchdown run to open the scoring in the first quarter. And the pass rush was all over Tagovailoa and then Jacoby Brissett throughout the entire afternoon. Gregory Rousseau, who's the first-round draft pick, they kind of took a bit of a flyer on him late in the first round. People weren't sure if he was going to be a bust or not. He's looked really good. And AJ Epinesa, who was a second-round pick out of Iowa a couple of years ago, they both flashed in this game, and they look like the Super Bowl contender that I kind of had them pegged as coming into the season.
Yeah, so that leaves us with 3 teams here, and team number 3 is you do have the Kansas City Chiefs. I already see people on the Twitter machine saying that how in the hell can you have the Ravens below the Chiefs? So how can you have the Ravens below the Chiefs when the Chiefs are coming in at number 3?
Yeah, I understand that. But people got to understand that, I had the Ravens as my number 12 team last week. I moved them up 7 spots. I thought that was I thought that was I don't want to say generous, but I think that's what they deserve. If Kansas City and Baltimore line up and play 8 more times, I think Kansas City probably wins 6 of them. I think Kansas City's still a better team. Is their run defense a little leaky? Yeah, it is.
Leaky.
Yeah, a lot leaky. A lot leaky. It might not tighten up until you said maybe week 12 or 13. They always seem to work like that. But I have a lot of faith in Mahomes still. Like I was saying, they had this game in hand. He did something he almost never does. He threw a really stupid pass, and that really turned the tide of this game. So I get what people are saying. How can you have a team ahead of another team that they just beat? I usually play by that kind of same logic, but I have the Chiefs as like a surefire, Super Bowl contender, whereas I have Baltimore more as a, dark horse pick. I still think Lamar Jackson has some things to prove when it comes to the playoffs. 1-3 career record in the playoffs, and he was 0-3 coming into this game when he was face to face with Mahomes. So I really like the Ravens. I like their running game. Tyson Williams and company are getting the job done. Well over 200 yards rushing. I like them a lot. I just like the Chiefs a little bit better.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you 100%. Like when you have the Chiefs at 2 and then the Ravens at 12 last week, man, you really can't just flip flop them because that's just not the way the rankings work there, gentlemen. So recap the top 10 before we give us our top 2 here of the NFL Power Rankings by @Bus Wallace himself on Twitter. You had the Cards at 10, Niners at 9, the Browns at number 8, the Packers at 7, the Raiders at number 6, the Baltimore Ravens at number 5. Your Buffalo Bills at 4, Kansas City Chiefs at number 3. Coming in at number 2, who do you got?
I got the Los Angeles Rams. It was kind of an up and down win for them over the Indianapolis Colts. They were up. They had the weird snap on the punt there to Johnny Hekker and ended up being a touchdown for the Colts. I think Colts kind of showed some life in this game. They're still pretty far down in my rankings, but Rams kind of had to fight back and to win this game. Cooper Kupp had a really nice performance. Stafford wasn't as impressive as he was in that first week against the Bears. Obviously, Colts are a little bit better than the Bears, I think, but I think they did enough to get into that top 2. I still really like this defense. Sean McVay seems like he's reinvigorated with this new quarterback, and I definitely think they have a chance to go all the way.
Yeah, and then obviously coming in at number 1, you do have the Tampa Bay Bucks. You know, I mean, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and right now the Bucks are the best. But the Rams and Bucks face off this week, so could we see some flip-flop in here? You think if the Rams beat the Bucks?
I think it's definitely possible. Bucks look mighty impressive. They had I think Edwards with two pick sixes in one game. That hasn't happened in quite some time. Obviously the offense is going at full capabilities as well. Brady with 9 touchdowns already. I believe he had 5 on Sunday. But if the Rams win that game and they win it in impressive fashion, I definitely think they have they can move into that top spot. But obviously you'll have to tune in next week to see.
Right. So do you have any questions about the Bucks offense though? Because I mean, like the Falcons were battling with them for 3 quarters, and then obviously the fourth quarter they opened the floodgates on them because typical Atlanta Falcons fashion, they only played 3 quarters. Is there any concern like with that, like with the Bucks at all?
I think it's really hard. I'd be really nitpicking here. I think they got an interception about midway through the third quarter that really helped them pull away. And then I saw Atlanta starting to battle back, and I'm like, wait a second, maybe the Falcons aren't as bad as I thought they were. But like you said, fourth quarter, they completely fell apart. I'd be nitpicking if I tried to poke many holes in this team. My main thing is, you've got Gronkowski, you got Antonio Brown, Godwin, Evans. Is there enough, to spread the ball around? But it seems like there's no real big egos, even though there is a lot of high profile players on this offense. I think Brady is going to be the captain of this team as is obvious, and he's going to make sure everyone kind of like gets fed, if you will.
Yeah, you are absolutely 100% correct on that. I mean, if we played thirds instead of quarters, the Falcons would probably be at least a 5-time Super Bowl champion easily if we played thirds. But guys, that is going to be it for the week 2 power rankings here. You can catch the full list on our Twitter machine or Facebook page. I will upload the last 16 there first thing tomorrow morning. But Mr. Bus Wallace himself at Bus Wallace on Twitter machine. Who do you got winning Thursday night?
I like the Carolina Panthers. Like I was saying a little bit before, I like this defense. I think Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator, is a guy you're going to see a little bit more. He's a little bit older. He's 65 years of age. He's finally getting his first chance at really a high-profile job. But he's one of Matt Rule's guys. You're going to see them flying around the field. I think they're going to really mix things up for Davis Mills, the Houston quarterback, in his first career game. I like Panthers in this game by a couple of touchdowns, I think.
Yeah, so let me ask you one question here. Over here on youtube.com/manhour, Damian Dresser asks, are we sleeping on Washington football team? I know my answer. What is your answer?
You know what? I like Washington. I really like the defense. I like Chase Young. I really like what I saw out of Taylor Heineke on Thursday night. If I'm being honest here, after I got past the first few teams in the teens, it was a lot of teams that were kind of in a bundle together. Beating the Giants is really not a really extremely impressive win, especially when they actually lost the game. And if it wasn't for Dexter Lawrence jumping offside, they would have lost that game. I see this as around a 500 team with Fitzmagic or not. I actually think Heineke can get the job done for them. I like Antonio Gibson. I like some of the receivers as well. I like Ron Rivera as a coach. I think this is a hard-nosed, tough team. I just don't know if they have enough explosive plays in them. So I somewhere around the middle, if they could creep close to that top 10, I think that's kind of the ceiling for this squad.
Yeah, so you actually have them ranked at 20th, and that's up from last week. But guys, Torrey Anderson had the Washington football team going 13-4 this season and just running the East and like going to the Super Bowl. They are a 500 team at best. They are Like I think 9 wins is their ceiling, just like what you said.
Yeah.
That is just their ceiling. Their defense is not as good as it was last year, and their offense is, I think, overrated a tad bit. Just because like people were buying into those receivers and the running back, and Fitz is going to lead us to the promised land and do this, and this. Guys, he's been on like 17 NFL teams for a reason.
He's never quarterbacked a team to the playoffs ever.
Yeah,
I think the closest he came was with the Jets, 10 wins, and they blew it in the last game of the season. So
yeah, you're absolutely correct on that. I mean, guys, Fitz is not a save savior. There's a reason why they call him a journeyman. He's good for 3 games. He'll throw for 500 yards in those 3 games, and then what does he do for the rest? He sucks.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But man, thank you for joining us. As always, we'll talk to you next week. And guys, be sure to follow Mr. Wallace on the old Twitter machine at Bus Wallace on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to like his blogs as well, guys. Thank you for joining me, man.
Okay, you got it, Buck. We'll see you next week.
All right, yes, sir. All right, guys, that is going to be it for our NFL Week 2 power rankings. Like I said, I have the complete list over on our Twitter at man_hour_radio on Twitter. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Man Hour Sports Talk. We are up against our neck break here. Going into hour number 2, guys, we are going to talk some more NFL because you know what? It is the NFL season, and NFL season is hitting hot. And Wednesdays are the most busiest days of the NFL work week. So, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour. Find the break. There it is.
Hey there, Mr. White T-shirt wearer dude.
Mr. White shirt wearer dude.
Do you wear the same shirt every day?
Same shirt every day.
Do you do the same thing every day?
The same thing every day.
Don't you worry, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Now with Man Hour merch, you can spice up your style each and every day. From hats to beanies to shirts, we got you covered, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Shop at manhourradio.com. T-shirts start at as $15. Shop today.
Why, thank you, manhourradio.com, for this awesome merch. Hats, T-shirts, $15. You can't go wrong.
Pretty obvious in that one. Dak's coming back off. You got Tom Brady, and did I mention 22 starters coming back?
When I say Lamar Jackson is trash, I'm not saying he is the worst quarterback in the league, but he is definitely not the best quarterback in the league. When you say somebody is trash, it is based off the perception of the general public.
Man Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckcaster here. Fine solo tonight. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page, and that would be much appreciated. But it is that time of hour number 2 of Man Hour, and we got to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors and providers here at the Man Hour Radio. Obviously, the number 1 supporter of tonight's show is pick'emwars.com. That's www.pickemwars. Pick'emwars.com. You guys can sign up for free over there to pick all the NFL games, college games, some UFC fights as well. And if you place in the top 10 of your picks, you get to win real money. Up to $500 a week is given away out there at picklemores.com. And you can play for absolutely free right now. Tell them that Man Hour Nation sent you over there, and they will treat you great over there. I actually won $250 last week on my pick. So I'm very, very excited at that. We also got to give a big shout out to at Blue Coolers. So at Blue Coolers, we believe best in the class quality doesn't have to be tied to high prices. We set out to deliver a cooler that can provide high quality at half the price of the competition. We are proud to say that we have done exactly that. We are consistently striving to improve and launch better products with also drinkware, 72-hour emergency kits, accessories, and more. To make it simple and short, we are a couple of hardworking Americans that love enjoying the outdoors. So, damn it, go to bluecoolers.com and use promo code ManHourRadio, and they'll match up to 50% on your purchase. That's bluecoolers.com. Also, guys, we are brought to you by Skull Candy as well. Skull Candy makes best headphones, earbuds, and gaming headsets with lifetime warranties. Skull Candy provides many types of audio accessories, including headsets, sports earbuds, Xbox gaming headsets, PlayStation headsets, DJ headsets, and of course iPod and MP3 headphones. Head over to skullcandy.com and use promo code ManHour, and they'll match up to 20% on your purchase. So 20% off at skullcandy.com and bluecoolers.com. Promo code ManHourRadio, guys, and they will treat you right over there at both of those locations. Let me go ahead and bring you back onto screen here, guys. I got to get that out there. Oh, we're also brought to you by Yeats Sunglasses. Go to yeatsoriginal.com. Use promo code ManHour. They'll take up 20% off of your purchase with promo code ManHour. All this stuff is in the description, guys. So, hour number 2, guys, we are here under the way. We give you guys the NFL power rankings at Bus Wallace on Twitter machine. Gives us his top 16 power rankings right here on the Man Hour every Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday morning, we release the bottom 16 to figure out where your teams are at. So we actually do all 32 teams. So he does great work over there. Very, very proud of him. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Bus Wallace. So, like I said, Wednesdays are the busiest days in the NFL, and we've seen Tua is not playing this week. Andy Dalton's not playing this week, and another big injury. Imagine that. Of course, week 2 is riddled with injuries, but that is Mr. Big Ben Roethlisberger. He tore his pec sometime during week 2. He doesn't know when, or he doesn't know how, but he took a ass beating on week 2 versus the Raiders, and somehow he tore his pec. So he is questionable for week 3 still. We don't know if he's going to play or yet or not. It's still Wednesday. You know, he still has 4 days to heal, and he obviously won't be practicing probably till Saturday at the earliest, or maybe Friday, I guess, but probably Saturday. Just do a walkthrough if he's able to play. But the question is going to be arised here. Last year here on the Man Hour, me and Combs and Mike LeBlanc sat here and said that the Pittsburgh Steelers should draft a quarterback. Big Ben is done because, you know, they were doing 11-0, and then all of a sudden they dropped five games in a row, or 6 games in a row. And then bada bing, bada boom, we're like, Big Ben's done. He retired and stick a fork in him. But he never retired. He came back. But the Pittsburgh Steelers never drafted a quarterback. And we did our live draft show, all 4 of us, Combs, Tori, and Wyatt, and myself. We all sat here and was like, man, why are the Pittsburgh Steelers not going to draft a quarterback? Is this going to come back and bite them in the butt? And sure as shit, guys, I think it is. I think by week 3 of the 2021 NFL season, the Pittsburgh Steelers not drafting a quarterback bit them in the ass. So right now, let's say Big Ben is not able to play. We sat here with Graham Wallace, and he said that, you know, hey, they got Mason Rudolph still. They got Dwayne Haskins still. Guys, if you are relying your season on Mason Rudolph, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you guys are done. You guys are going to – Mike Tomlin's going to have his first losing season ever. You guys are going to miss the playoffs, and you guys are going to be absolutely – Mason Rudolph is trash. I would take Lamar Jackson over Mason Rudolph, and they both raunch and trash and haven't been taken out in 10 days. They got coffee grinds at the bottom. Hell, they might even got some cat litter. That's how bad Mason Rudolph is. So obviously the draft is gone and it's not coming in again until April. Speaking of April, we are giving away a free trip to the NFL draft in Vegas, April 2022. All you got to do is become a member over here at youtube.com/manhour. Click on that join button, become a gold member or higher, and you get free entry into that Vegas trip. We'll be driving at Super Bowl Sunday. Shameless plug there. But we're looking at the quarterback questions right now in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's say Big Ben cannot play. Mason Rudolph is not the answer. We don't know if Dwayne Haskins has his head right back yet or not. We don't know if he is still at the strip club getting wings or doing whatever he's doing, getting COVID, got his mind right. We don't know. So we are looking at free agent quarterbacks. We are looking at quarterbacks that could possibly help the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the first name that comes to mind, guys, Cam Newton. Cam Newton's out there. His little weird outfit with his hair poking out the side of his hat and I don't know, his dress or whatever. I don't know, whatever he's wearing. But does Cam Newton not fit that Pittsburgh Steelers team to a T? What is Big Ben? He's a big body, strong arm quarterback that can kind of run, right? What is Cam Newton right now? He's a big bodied quarterback that can kind of run right now, that can throw a 5-yard out route. Guys, Cam Newton to Pittsburgh Steelers is a match made in heaven. Let's just be flat out honest. If you do not believe me, think about this. Big Ben and Cam Newton. Let's just look at the obvious here. Let's look at the body types. Body types are pretty much the same, right? Cam Newton used to be able to run pretty good, and maybe not so much now. You know who else cannot run? Big Ben, right? Big Ben can't run anywhere. So it's, guys, I think it's a match made in heaven. Cam Newton to the Pittsburgh Steelers, calling it here first. So calling it here first. Drew says Haskins is still better than Mason Rudolph. I agree with that, Drew. Actually, I don't know, man. I don't know, because if we think about this, what has Dwayne Haskins done for us, to be honest? You know, he hasn't been very good he wasn't very good in Washington. Like, obviously that's why he got cut. I mean, not obviously the C word, we cannot say the C word, but like, obviously, you know, him going to the strip club and getting the virus doesn't help, but I don't know. I see you guys are talking about the taunting calls in the chat. I'm not watching the Notre Dame game right now. I guess I'm not for sure. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so as my computer's going crazy here, my screen keeps flashing on and off. I don't know what's going on there. But let's get into some more sports headlines. Let me get that off of the calm here. And obviously, we if the Cam stories are true, then he is done for life. I don't know what the Cam stories are. I haven't done much research on that, and I don't even know what the Cam stories are. So if you could let me know what the Cam stories are, I will address that after we talk about the Kansas City defense, because we need to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs defense, because obviously we just did our power rankings, and the Kansas City Chiefs are still in the top 5. Ravens that are at 2, and Chiefs are at number 3. But the Kansas City Chiefs defense is trash, guys. Let's just be flat out honest. They are not very good. Yes, I know the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, did not play week 1. He's still gaining his legs for week 2 and all this other stuff. But with that being said, why is Kansas City Chiefs defense so freaking bad? Like, they have like 30% of their money wrapped up in the defensive lineman. They can't stop the freaking run. Why? What is so bad about the? Is it the culture there? Is it Spagnuolo, or like what is the problem there in Kansas? Like, I don't get it. But obviously we've seen how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's force them into mistakes, get in Patrick Mahomes' face, fumble the ball at the end of the at the end of the game. The Ravens beat the Chiefs, in week 2. So the question has to be proposed. Are the Kansas City Chiefs still the team in the AFC? Disclaimer, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Yeah, you see the Packer stuff. Yeah, like whatever. But I'm a Kansas City Chiefs guy. Guys, let's just be flat out honest. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs guy through and through. My wife says Packers fan. That's why this stuff's like king there, because I'm supporting her. But I'm going to say no. The Kansas City Chiefs are not even a top 4 team in the AFC right now. They are not. I will take the Raiders over them. Yes, the division foe, the Raiders. I would take, obviously, the Baltimore Ravens all over them because, they beat them head-to-head, obviously. And then, like, I would take the Cleveland Browns over them, honestly, right now. So there's 3. I would take the, who else would take? The Buffalo Bills, obviously. I think the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC right now. And then I'm going to throw a wild card at you guys. I would take the Denver Broncos over the Kansas City Chiefs right now, too. That's 2 West teams that I would take over the Kansas City Chiefs. So I would take the Broncos, Chargers, Bills, Browns, and Ravens all over the Kansas City Chiefs right now. For some reason, I am not in love with this Kansas City Chiefs team at all. I don't know if it's their lack of urgency to win the games, because they're talking about 17-0, yada yada yada. If it's a lack of just like, yeah, we're destined to go to the Super Bowl again. Like, it's hard to get to the fucking Super Bowl. Face it. It is hard to get there. And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are not playing like they're any sense of urgency or anything like just like that. And they needed this loss versus the Ravens. They needed a wake-up call. Hey, guys, you are not the best team in the AFC right now. You need to practice harder. You need to show up. Your defense needs to step up and stop sucking. That's what it comes down to. Kansas City Chiefs defense, step up and stop sucking. You guys are getting paid way too much damn money. 30% of the salary cap. Yes, I know Patrick Mahomes making $100 million or whatever it is. Cool. Or $500 million. It doesn't matter. It's all backloaded, so he's only making like $15 million this year still. Whatever. 33% of the salary cap right now is going to the defensive line, and you guys cannot stop the freaking run. Jeez. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse here, flying solo tonight. The last 10 minutes of the show is going to be all about shop talk. So you guys want to talk about anything, let me know here at youtube.com/Man Hour in the comment section. I'll be gladly to address anything that you guys bring up here. So I did end that last segment here on the Chiefs here a little bit abruptly because I was starting to get heated. And I got to address some of those comments that were coming in here. Damon says a great NFL defense don't need to stop the run anymore. I'm not saying you just got to stop the run, but if you don't get a pass rush, how can you do anything? I mean, like the Kansas City Chiefs weren't even getting a pass rush, and if you can't even do that, you are getting way overpaid to do absolutely nothing, and give it up 36 points week in and week out is not a good for that. And then Drew says, I don't agree that great NFL defenses have to stop the run anymore. Argument is for the Ravens, though. So there are a few teams that rely heavily on the run. Tennessee Titans, AFC team, the Ravens, AFC team, and that's probably about it. So if you want to make it to the Super Bowl, you got to beat those two teams. So you have to be able to stop the run at some point. Now, Kansas City Chiefs and great defense do not go hand in hand at all. So Drew says the Chiefs got a black eye last week. Yeah, they got popped in the mouth over and over and over. But on the bright side, they were still in a position to win the game at the end of the game. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled the ball away to pretty much seal the loss for them. So Damon says teams I wouldn't bet the house on. Everyone but the Chiefs, Buccaneers, and Rams. Not for sure what that means, but sure. Drew says Mahomes is great, but contrary to what some people believe, he is still human. He's going to screw up from time to time. Yeah, he made a horrible throw, made a horrible decision, but when you get $500 million over the next 10 years, you do not make that. You are not supposed to make that mistake. Let's just be honest. It was a horrible mistake. It was a Lamar Jackson mistake, if you guys want to go there. Drew says, personally, I think the best team in the NFL right now are the Rams. Yeah, I agree. Matthew Stafford and the Rams look pretty damn good. But we are forgetting how great that defense is. They arguably have the best defensive player on their team in Aaron Donald, and they're just going to get better and better week in and week out. And Damon says Mohoppet because Patrick Mahomes sounds like Kermit the Frog. So if you guys ever heard him talk, he sounds exactly like Kermit the Frog. Damon says Mahomes is still young. He don't get the game like Stafford, Ryan, Rodgers, and Brady, but he is far advanced for his age. Yeah, guys, this is only his third full season playing, right? Fourth full season. Because first year he sat behind Alex Smith. Second year he led him to the AFC Championship game, lost to the Patriots because D Ford lines 5 yards off sides, and questions like, "Well, I didn't line up off sides." Next year they won the Super Bowl, and last year they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Bucs. So yeah, this is his fifth year, guys. So I mean, four years as a starter, fifth year in the league. So definitely agree with that 100%. But guys, we're going to wrap up Man Hour there tonight. Join us tomorrow. Thursday is the last show of the week. It is the official Pick'em week, so the whole show is brought to you by pick'emwars.com. The link is in the description, guys. Sign up for free, and you can win real money over there. Just know that you are picking against the spread. So when you pick the Chiefs-Broncos game and you pick the Chiefs to win, the Chiefs have to win by 6.5 points or whatever it is. I don't know the spread off the top of my head. But guys, head over to pick'emwars.com. Check it out. Just sign up for free. I mean, that is all we ask. You don't have to play, but it's free. You get an opportunity to win money. So why not, right? Guys, that's going to be it for tonight. This is Michael Buckhouse with Man Hour, manhourradio.com. Big shout out to pick'emwars.com, Geets Original Sunglasses, Blue Coolers, and of course, Skull Candy headphones, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. YouTube.com/Man Hour, 8 p.m. East Coast time. Have a great night.